Hello, everybody, and welcome to my very first official YouTube Live. If you would be so kind as to sign in, if you're listening, you're standing by, whatever you're doing, I'm in the live chat part of the program. I will be more than happy to talk to you, answer your questions, take your insults, whatever you need to do. It is the first week of the NFL coming up on Sunday, and the Eagles will be playing the Redskins, and I will be there. So let's calm down about that, because the Dallas Cowboys finally signed Zeke, and I hate him. If you are new to YouTube, please don't use this as your first example. But if you already know me and love me, this is going to be an amazing talk today. I'm going to be talking about some of the biggest mistakes that salespeople make so that you can avoid them. And I'm going to start with the biggest one. The biggest mistake that salespeople make is blaming the customer for not getting a call back. Adam's on, Jay's on, Garcia is on, Brian is on. And hey, Brian Kelm, the #1 student, he's totally cool. Happy you're here, Brian. Big NFL opening tilt. I will be, by the way, if you're looking at this and you're looking at it for before Sunday the 8th, I will be at Tommy DeNick's at the Reading Terminal at 11 o'clock in the morning. To have a brisket sandwich. You can stop by. We can argue over the check. You can win. And I will be at Famous Delicatessen at 4th and Bainbridge at 8 o'clock on Sunday morning in my ritual pre-game breakfast where I have never lost. Okay. Let's get back to the biggest mistake that salespeople make. I think it's important for you to understand that salespeople are fallible people. They make mistakes all the time. But the blunders that half salespeople make don't have to be made at all. All you have to do is remember this. If you're telling me about the guy, you're blaming. Otherwise, you can avoid half of that by saying, the customer wouldn't call me back and it was all my fault. Here's what I did wrong. Got that? You take responsibility or you blame. When it happens, when the customer doesn't call you back, you leave a great voicemail message. It was very detailed. You talked about all the stuff you got to do. I sent you a proposal 3 days ago, whatever the message is. What are you thinking when they don't call you back? I mean, maybe you left 20 voicemails because your boss told you had to call 40 people and you couldn't get through. But what are you thinking when they don't call you back after you've sent a proposal to them? Are you thinking that they didn't call you back because you thought your price was too high, or you thought they bought from somebody else, or you thought that they didn't like you, or that your presentation pretty much sucked? Now, they said they loved you. Why won't they call you back? They said, oh, this is a great presentation. We think you're phenomenal. Crickets, crickets, crickets. You worked for hours on the proposal. You worked for another half an hour just on your stupid ass subject line to make sure they would open up the email. They didn't email back. They didn't call back. Why? And that's what we want to try to uncover today. Why did they not call you back? Or you believe that they didn't call you back because. The biggest one is they're not going to buy from me. That's the biggest one. The second biggest one is they thought my price was too high. But the last person that you blame in this deal is you. You don't take responsibility for nothing. You always blame the guy for not calling you back. Imagine that. And your boss says, well, how'd that Acme deal go? You go, I called the guy 3 times. He wouldn't call me back. Seriously? That's the excuse you give? It's a wretched excuse. I tried everything I could. I went there live. I called them. I cold called them in the morning. I waited in the parking lot for them. No, you just conveniently say, oh, he didn't call me back, and that's it. You're thinking more about your lost commission and your unmade quota than you're thinking about the real reason why this person didn't call you back. I'll bet. It was a $10,000 deal, 10% commission, you lost $1,000 because the guy didn't call you back. You chicken shit. You think that's the real reason? You think that has anything to do with why you lost that sale? No, bud. You better do a little self-examination in order to be able to uncover the real reason. Because the customer not calling you back is a symptom, not a problem. Are we clear on that? Because if we're clear on that, we can move forward. Customer not calling back is not a problem, not an objection. It is a symptom. Something is way deeper than them not calling you back. Now, if you can uncover the real reason that they're not calling you back, then you can get all your calls returned. Is that cool or what? And make the sale. Not just get your call returned. I'm talking about they're going to call you back, shows an interest to buy. It's just like an objection is actually the customer's interest to buy. Your price is too high. Oh, that means they want to buy. Isn't that cool? We have somebody else, we have a satisfactory supplier. That means they're going to buy. They're just not buying from you. So let me help you break down some of the real reasons. In my opinion, the customer has not called you back because you have not conveyed enough belief in your own product and your own price and your own value to that customer to where they believe you and they perceive that your value is best. How about that? Guy didn't call me back. They probably didn't even read your proposal. How about that? See, what I recommend to salespeople is don't put your price in the proposal and let them call you up and go, hey, I couldn't see the price. Right, because I wanted you to call me. How'd I do so far? But you have no guts, no balls. People have done the same thing in the past, haven't they? Haven't they not called you back in the past? And those people were genuinely not interested. So you're keeping that belief alive that, oh, the guy just wasn't interested. That's a big, bad belief. And of course, you think your price is too high. Another dumb belief. People pay for anything at any price, and you know it. You've gone out and spent big money at a restaurant, and the restaurant sucked. You buy a chicken for $30. You can buy one at the grocery store for $5. Well, it doesn't come with a fancy plate and a waiter and all that. I mean, it's a value. It's a perceived value. And your customer has to perceive the value in you, or it's not going to happen. Or maybe the customer didn't actually have a good feeling about you. That's a real reason. But you don't want to admit that part. That's a little scary. What do you mean the guy didn't have a good feeling about me? Well, you weren't that good. You were not that. Did you record your talk? No. Did you listen to your talk? No. I guarantee you half the reason the guy's not calling you back is that your talk sucked. How about that? Now, let's talk about relationship. Let's look at the fact that they probably have an existing relationship someplace. And I'm going to give you have a relationship right now. You have tons of them. I'm going to give you an example of a classic one. You go into a Barnes & Noble to buy a book, but you already have a relationship with Amazon, don't you? And so you go into Barnes & Noble and you see the book is $16.99, and you look on Amazon, it's $12.95 Prime, and you're a primer. You click the button, don't you? Well, what's the reason you didn't buy from Barnes & Noble? That store clerk wants to know. Well, the book didn't really look that good to me. I decided I wasn't interested. Bullshit. The bullshit button goes off in their head. You cannot blame the customer for some unknown reason of yours. That's the key factor here. And you have to understand that not all sales are going to be made because of price. Sometimes they're made for convenience. Sometimes they're made for urgency of need. Sometimes they're made because of perception. Sometimes they're made just because the customer likes you better than likes the other person. Now, your relationship with Amazon goes way deeper than the bookstore. Because if you're going to go to buy a refrigerator or a computer or whatever it is that you're selling, somebody's going to Amazon shop you or Google shop you, and you can't stop them. And you know what? Come a little closer. They're Googling you too. Maybe the reason that they haven't called you back is that they Googled you and nothing came up. And your customer wants to do business with a somebody, not a nobody. Now, oh, hi, Jen. How does believing your customer didn't call you back hurt you? How does believing that you think they're going to buy from somebody else hurt you? Well, first of all, it doesn't really hurt you other than financially. It's your belief system that it hurts. And you write it off because it's the path of least resistance. It's easier to blame the prospect than taking responsibility. Or maybe you just don't want to dwell on it to get upset about it. Or you may just be ignoring the fact that the customer didn't call you back because they had something else to do. They had something more important to you. They have to sell their stuff. They have to produce their stuff. They have to ensure that their customers are loyal. And they just didn't have time for you until you just ignore it because you don't like rejection. Ooh. What does that cost you? Well, whatever your numbers are, if you're selling 2 out of 10 and you lose that one, you've just lost 10% of your 10% of your sales, but it might be 50% of your revenue. Ooh. And it might mean you don't make quota or get that president's club or whatever they offer you as a dangling carrot. And in the meantime, if you had the answers to why they didn't call you back, dude, you could make president's club in the first 2 months of the year and the company would be paying you to find out how you did it. Wouldn't that be cool? Or not? So I want you to break it down just a little bit further. At what stage of the sale is the customer not calling you back? Because that's going to set a tone for what you have to do to figure it out for yourself. Is it they didn't call you back on your initial call to them? They didn't call you back after you had an appointment? They didn't call you back after you sent a proposal? They didn't call you back after they said they were going to decide Tuesday at 10 o'clock and you call Tuesday at 10 o'clock and there's no one there. That happens all the time, correct? Yeah, call me Tuesday at 10. Okay, Tuesday, 10 o'clock? Okay, boss. And Tuesday morning, 9:58, 9:59. Is Bob there? Bob's playing golf today. He said Tuesday. He said Tuesday. Why didn't that person call you back? Because they didn't consider you important enough to be able to be there for that proposed appointment or to call you back for anything. They have their stuff to do. You have your stuff to do, and they may be this far apart. Got it so far? All right. So I should just get down to the truth of this thing. It could be the prospect was just too busy. I mean, you may have the sale, it may be in the offing, and you already got it in your mind that they're not going to buy it. Your old bad habits are getting in the way of your success. Maybe you're just not in touch with the real decision maker and they're pawning you off someplace. Or maybe you haven't given them a compelling enough reason to return your call. Maybe you didn't have an idea. You only wanted to follow up to see if they got the proposal and had any questions. You don't care if they had any questions, you just want the money. So I'm going to give you one strategy that I have taught for years, and this I promise you will work. You send a proposal, you call the guy, he doesn't call you back. You call him again, he doesn't call you back. You call him a third time, he doesn't call you back. You hire your kid. You get a 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old kid to call up and leave this voicemail message. Hi, my name is Billy. My dad sent you a proposal about 3 weeks ago, and he's called you several times. Now, I read the proposal. It looked pretty good to me. And he's calling you, and you're not calling him back. and I may not get to go to college, and hang up. I promise you, your call will be returned in under a half an hour, assuming the person's not doing anything else. And I also promise you that they will pass that voicemail message along to every single human being. Now, look at these people that are on the call right now, by the way, there's a lot of them. The apparel group is on from Alabama, the Horner Apparel Group. They need to make the type a little smaller here so I can never read it. People from all over the world are on here. Wow, this is just absolutely amazing. Okay. If you have any questions, type them in. And I promise you I will try to avoid them at all costs. The same way you try to avoid when the customer says, how much is this? Just challenging you. Now, you need to have an understanding of what's going on because the sale is probably still possible even though they haven't returned your call. Is that fair enough to assume? Yeah. And they could be interested, but they just haven't called you back yet. You don't know what's going on in their head. You're presupposing a bunch of stuff. So you have two choices. You can believe they're going to call you back, or you can believe the sale is over and they're never going to call you back. And if you believe the sale is going to happen, then you have to determine what's going to drive your next call to make it better, to make it more interesting, to make it returnable. Unfortunately, this is not the in-depth time. This is just the YouTube video time. I'm going to be going into this in more depth in my virtual seminar series. I'm going to tell you more about how to get your call returned, how to get your email returned by telling you exactly what to say. I've given you a couple of examples, but I really need to go deeper into it. You'll see a link in the notes here. Just click the link and sign up. And you'll get everything returned. For now, I want you to stop thinking the sale is over and start thinking about why this event has occurred. The purpose of this short video is to talk to you about the why. And if you understand the why, then all of a sudden the how becomes evident. Because what happened? Guy didn't return your call. Guy didn't even return your email. That bastard. I called him up the phone, he didn't call me back. That creep. So I'm asking you, I'm challenging you, you have to find out why. And don't presuppose it in your head based on your old belief system, or you have a real problem. It is most likely that the person did not call, male or female, that the person did not call you back because they were too damn busy. And you're not in first place. You may be in ninth place. There may be 8 calls ahead of you from their customers. Oh, their customers. Same way you would be, wouldn't it? Wouldn't you answer a customer's call first? Of course you would. And so you have these choices to make first in your head, your belief system, how deeply you believe in your product, how deeply you believe in your customer, how deeply you believe in yourself will dictate how you think about the fact that the person has not called you back or the person has not emailed you back. So I'm challenging you to solidify that first. Get to the point where you believe that everyone's going to call you back because of what you offer and the value that you provide. The ideas that you've given, not the proposals that you've given. People don't give a shit about proposals. They look at a price and they throw them away. Yeah, but Mars was fancy, it had our history. It doesn't matter. People look for the price. And if you don't believe me, try sending out your next 5 proposals without a price. Yeah, I promise you, your phone will ring off the hook. Now, I have the answers deeper than we're talking about today. I'm going to pop a link where you can register for my live online piece. I want you to make certain that you understand the big why of this, because there is a huge why. And if you don't understand the why, you can never get to the how. So you want me to give you instant answers so I can give you the Vulcan mind meld or something? That doesn't happen that way. Until you stop blaming, until you start taking responsibility for who you are and what you do and who you represent and the product that you offer, until you understand that the belief in that has to be so damn deep that nobody can penetrate it. No one can take it away from you. No one can rob you of your attitude. Nobody can rob you of your belief system. No one can rob you of your enthusiasm. Until you have those things set in stone, you're going to start to second guess why they didn't call you back. Dangerous process. Easier solution than you believe. And you can't simply blame. You have to take responsibility. If you take enough responsibility, you'll click the link and join me. And I can't wait. The more important thing is that you are responsible for you. You're responsible for your own success. And until you have a firm understanding of that, you may continue to blame others for why your success did not happen. I am Jeffrey Gitomer. I am so happy that you joined me today, and I can't wait to see you at my next live event. Bye-bye.